Story time, it's my favorite time, spending time reading with you. Welcome to another story time with Gam Gam. Let's see what we have for today. Welcome to Story Time with Gam Gam. Thank you for joining me today. Remember to like and subscribe if you're enjoying these videos. Our story today is The Warmest Place of All, and this was written by Lucia Rando and illustrated by Anna Jewett. The Warmest Place of All. Shadows crept across the snowy yard. Sophie's day of winter fun was almost over. "Sophie, come in," Mama called. "Your toes must be popsicles. Just 1 minute more," Sophie begged as she put the final touch on her snow woman. "Your cheeks are red like two ripe apples," Mama kissed Sophie's ice-cold face. Sophie kicked off her boots. She pulled off her snow pants and wet socks. "Come sit in the kitchen," Mama said. "It's the warmest place, especially when you're sipping hot cocoa." "Cocoa!" cried Sophie as she dashed towards the table. She wrapped her rosy fingers around the mug. Cocoa-y steam warmed her frozen cheeks. Like smooth pudding, the warm cocoa slid from her tongue to her belly. "This makes me warm like when I'm floating in a hot bath," she said, "but I still can't feel my toes." "I know just the thing to thaw those icy toes," Mama said with a smile. In the bathroom, clouds of steam swirled in the air. "This is the warmest place," said Mama. Sophie slid down and let the water wrap around her like a soft blanket. After the bath, Mama rubbed Sophie dry with a fluffy towel, but when Baby Bear pushed the door and patted in, a draft of chilly air filled the room. "Ooh!" Sophie shivered and her teeth began to chatter. Mama, this is not the warmest place." "I know the warmest place," said Mama. She plopped Sophie into a comfy blue chair and pulled the woolly blanket up to her neck. "Ah, this is as warm as a snuggle with a big furry dog," said Sophie. But before long, her bare feet were sticking out of the blanket. "Mama, this is not the warmest place either," she cried. Mama called Baby Bear to come and sit with Sophie. "Cuddle with Baby Bear until supper's ready. There's no place warmer," she said. Baby Bear flopped on top of Sophie and licked her cheeks. "I'm as wet and warm as a bean swimming in a pool of soup," Sophie said. But Baby Bear couldn't wait for supper. He trotted off to the kitchen to eat. Sophie sighed. "This isn't the warmest place either," she said. In the kitchen, Mama's 3-bean soup was steaming hot. Sophie slurped the last spoonful from the bottom of her bowl and said, "I'm as warm as a bug in a bed." Just then, Daddy burst through the door. With him came a blast of cold winter air. "Brrr!" Sophie shook. "I'm so cold." "Well," Mama said, "it's getting late. I think the warmest place for you is your bed." Daddy lifted Sophie onto her bed, and she slid between the icy sheets. Mama kissed her cheeks as she pulled the quilt up to her chin. "Sweet dreams," Daddy said as he turned off the lamp. Later that night, when the house was quiet, Sophie woke shivering. Her warm cocoon of blankets had tumbled to the floor. Carefully, she tiptoed across the hall. In the dark, she climbed between 2 mountains of blankets and settled into the valley of cozy bedding. At last, Sophie was warm. Mama opened her sleepy eyes and smiled. She wrapped her arm around Sophie and pulled her in close. "Warm?" whispered Mama. "Mm-hmm," Sophie sighed. "This is the warmest place of all." The warmest place of all. You have a good night's sleep, and I hope that you have a warm and cuddly place for resting too. Good night. I love you.